Alright, it's Cody here, Noisy Tut. Gonna do my predictions for UFC 127 and UFC on Versus 3. Decided to combine these two just because I don't want to do separate videos. And also I thought it'd be a good idea to do a contest to combine both of these cards. And the winner gets, since it's two cards, Ultimate 2-pack of UFC 49 and UFC 50. Ooh, a 2-pack, eh? Let's get to my predictions. This is UFC 127 first. This guy's name is very hard to pronounce, so I'm going to butcher it. I'm going to go ahead and say it, but I think he's going to win. We just predict the winners up to the main event by name. I'm not going to list the two guys fighting. Macy Edge, Jutaskuzeko. I have no idea what I just said. Chris Takashir Anthony Parrish, Jason Reinhardt, who always looks jacked as shit. That guy always looks crazy jacked. Crazy steroid jacked. But I think he's going to win it. Nick Ring, Alexander Gustafson's son. Just doesn't have enough vowels in his name. What's wrong, Alexander? Your parents must hate you. Spencer Fisher. Now the main card. Okay, we got Chris Kemkazi versus Kyle Noke. Kyle Noke was always talented in Ultimate Fighter. His only real problem was wrestling, but I liked his submissions and his stand-up. I think he got beat by someone that was kind of, you know, rudimentary on the wrestling. I forgot. I think it was the guy who went to the finals and got beat by that guy. The guy with the goatee. Kurt McGee. Or Court McGee. But yeah. Yeah. Noke. Chris Lytle versus Brian Ebersol. Never heard of Ebersol. Big Lytle fan. Someone made a really good post on SureDog about Lytle and about how he's fought like 29 rounds in the UFC and how he's never lost by TKO or submission. All of his losses are either by decision and there were 2 by cut. That's insane. Chris Lytle just, you know, I never thought of it like that. I never looked at his stats like that. It's crazy. The guy's just a crazy fighter. He's a full-time fireman. He's impossible not to like Chris Lytle a little bit. You just gotta like him. I mean, if you hate him, you gotta admire him somehow. And I really like Chris Lytle. And this fight was gonna be a really close one before, but you know, stuff happens. You gotta fight who they put in front of you. And it's a good build-up fight for Lytle. He can continue his streak with this. I'd like to see him win. Although, you know, if the odds are good enough, you might want to throw some money on Brian. Just because, I mean, he may be really bad as an underdog right now. George Sotiropoulos versus Dennis Seaver. I like George. George has been on a tear lately. I like George in this one. Yeah. Michael Bisping versus Jorge Rivera. Jorge Rivera's done a great job hyping this fight. It's been really interesting. He has a guy dressed up like Bisping and they make fun of him and they do like UFC type interviews where they switch to fighter. Really funny stuff, really comical. I enjoyed it at least. Some of it was kind of, you know, grade school, but a lot of it was really funny for me at least. And someone was asking why I don't like Michael Bisping that much. I liked Michael Bisping when he was on that season of Ultimate Fighter. I think it was season 3. I mean, Hamill was like coming off as a huge bad guy on that show because he had that little Danny guy who was Arabic running his errands for him and making him sandwiches. And, you know, he's kind of like a prima donna because Tito was babying him. And, you know, Bisping was this guy who's supposed to be the prodigy, but supposed to be the guy that's going to clean up the house. And, you know, he was getting ignored. And it was really, it was neat. It was a neat dynamic. And it made you root for Bisping. All right, so you have that going for him. And they never fight. Him and Hamill never fight on the show, sadly, because Hamill gets injured fighting Mike Nichols with this awful stand-up. It's a ridiculous sight. I should maybe do a review of that season sometime because that season is so crazy, just so batshit insane, awful at times too. it's crazy. Mike Nichols can't punch worth a dime, and Hamill couldn't punch either. It was just such worthless stand-up watching them fight. It was like a mating call of two sloths. But anyway, they finally did fight, right? And Hamill won every round. And after it, Bisping is jumping up and down, declaring victory and everything else. His spirit, he won the fight, but his spirit was all wrong in that, because I wish he had more of a Rampage versus Machida spirit instead of a confident, oh yeah, I won that fight spirit, because he did not win that fight. No. Then it got worse as Bisping did the Ultimate Fighter as a coach himself, and the Hendo really didn't have anything to do with them, but he feuded with the American fighters, which, especially DeMarcus Johnson, is really childish, and just my opinion of him ever since those two things has always gone down. So I explained that for y'all. Jorge Rivera is a very strong fighter, very good fighter, has very good power, and I think he's actually gotten under Bisping's skin with all these taunts and stuff. So I'm going to take Jorge. Yes, Jorge. By KO. There you go. He hits hard. And then we got Jon Fitch versus BJ Penn, which is kind of a hard fight to pick. A lot of people, I think the favorite here is Fitch. It's really, this is almost like back to the early UFC days. It's all like talent versus size and power, It's like, can you overcome those things with enough skills, enough tools in your tool belt to just pull out the win? And BJ Penn's the guy that could do this. It could go to the decision. I could see that too. The weird thing about BJ Penn is, like, he's lately become this guy who allows other people to dictate the fight. You watch him and he doesn't really have any eagerness to go stand up or to go to the ground. He'll let the other guy choose, and he, in his mind says, well, I'm better than that guy wherever it goes. It's more of a fluent, water-like style, shape me, bend me, but I'll beat you somehow. And that seems to fit in with Jon Fitch, who is someone who's always relentlessly trying to get this fight to the ground, just pushing the pace, trying to get it down, and trying to surfboard you for as long as he can. And so I don't think he's going to be able to get away with much of that. Although, is Fitch, when he's surfboarding, is he doing much more than appears to the eye? Is he just using his power to keep submissions at bay at all times? It's hard to tell a lot of times with Fitch if he's just has really good wrestling technique, or if he has really good power, or how he's able to avoid so many subs from the bottom. But I will say he hasn't fought a sub fighter like BJ Penn. To me, it's just kind of like a personal choice. I just want BJ Penn to win this fight. I want him to win it because I really want to see Jon Fitch in a fight that gets finished. Really? Please? Please? Huh? Come on. This is wishful thinking on my part. But yeah, that's what I like to see. I kind of think that's what's going to happen. It's like 50-50 almost, where I think I can see Fitch just grinding this out for 15 minutes. But yeah, it's a coin flip. But I'm going to go with BJ Penn just because I want it to be exciting. I want it to be a good card. I want it to have some surprises in there, and I think that'd be a good surprise. So yeah, those are my predictions for that. You can predict that too. And I'm going to go over to the UFC on versus 3 card. Munoz, which is Sanchez versus Kampmann, is your main event. Alright. See if I got all these. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. Igor, I'm going by names again. Igor Pogarakjak. He's going to win his fight. Whatever. These names are going to be awful. I'm going to butcher these awful. These are some weird ass names. And I've never heard of some of these guys before. Rousimar Palhares. Got him. Rob Kimmons. Got him. Takeya Mizugaki Kai. I got him. Eric Koch. Got him. Shane Roller. Cyrille Diabate. The Snake. Got him. And Joe Stevenson. on the comeback trail. Can he do it, folks? Can he turn this whole ship around? We'll see. Main card. Brian Bowles or Bowles. I've never heard his name pronounced. Versus Damacio Page. Damacio. Something like that. I got Brian because he's won a lot of damn fights. Alessio Sakara versus Chris Weidman. I got Sakara because Sakara's a decent fighter, decent puncher. I've never heard of Chris before. CB Dollaway versus Mark Munoz. And I want Munoz to win this really bad. Munoz should win this. Come on, Filipino wrecking machine, wrecking hammer, wrecking ball, something like that. Do that to CB. Get CB off the freaking company. Just get rid of him. I don't want to see CB anymore. Definitely think Martin Munoz has the tools to do this. He just needs to do it. And Martin Kampmann versus Diego Sanchez. And yeah, I'm actually looking at both of their losses. I'm on. Let's see. I guess Sanchez did get a win over. Was it Thiago? But I'm actually leaning towards Kampmann here. My voice went crazy high. Because I liked his fight against Shields. He did really good against Shields. He was real defensive, but he did pretty good against Shields. And I think he has better stand-up than Diego. Now, of course, Diego, he could get this down. But I think Martin Kampmann also has really good defense to that because he did really good against Shields. Because Shields was also crazy at that cut because we don't know if we saw the real Shields or we just saw a guy that was really dehydrated. You know, that happens when guys cut like that. I mean, he's fighting at 185 pretty much full time, and then he got cut back. He's like, I can go to 170. I need a challenge of a DSP. Come on, kid. Dana doesn't sound like that. That's how I think Dana sounds like that in the back. You know, he's just like an old school promoter. Make me the money, see? But yeah, I got Martin Kampmann. Martin Kampmann for the win. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to say Diego Sanchez is washed up. But I think his best years are behind him. It just seems like he had... It's so sad, Diego, that just... I mean, the guy, you may not like him. I don't really care for his personality. He's kind of weird. I'm kind of weird too. But the thing that kills me about Diego is he never got that title shot. He just came so close so many times, but he never... Well, actually, he had one against BJ Penn, didn't he? He may have. He did get a title shot. But not at 170. I'd like to see a title shot at 170 for him. Because, I don't know. It just, he lost that Koch fight and it really messed everything up. So yeah, those are my picks. Make your picks. I think I'm going to list all my picks below. Plus the fights themselves. I thought since every other thing has been so close, we'll do this all in a giant wad. And there's no chance in hell that anyone's going to get exactly the same, I don't know, record out of this because it's so you know, it's so intricate. It's so intricate. There's so many little details here, and plus the tiebreaker is going to be number of decisions. List them separately. Number of decisions for 127. Number of decisions for UFC versus 3. Both. So it's 2 tiebreakers, and the last tiebreaker, if someone got the same record and they got the same number of decisions on each of them, or you know, someone could get on the first one and the second. Yeah, the numbers will kill you. But the third tiebreaker will be whoever leaves me a comment that's not predictions. It's just to be the best comment, because I missed the comments I had before I ran contests on these UFC cards, because they're less about, you know, talking about my predictions or talking about the fight card, and more about winning DVDs. And I want a good balance there. I mean, I understand I introduced this contest, and that's a part of it, but I also like having your original comments around too. So yeah, that's my picks. I'm tired. I'm really tired. This is a really long video, but yeah, you'll win UFC Ultimate 2-pack. And of course, show yourself open the package to be eligible to enter in our contest about me. Micro Machines guy voice. Yeah. I'll see you later. Koch versus Tito. Belfort versus Couture. It's a heavy disc to it. You can tell it's nicely made in the US of A.